I'm going to destroy you.
There has been a death recently, and honestly, over the last decade or so. This thing that died was born in 1950.
My wife goes around in cool, comfortable dresses, but I, like all other men, have to wear shirts with stiff collars and ties. Why doesn't somebody do something about it? Asked Mr. Hugh Rogers of Western Connecticut.
You know what I really don't like that much? That still happens all the time and is just not funny and is really boring now and sucks? Late night comedy TV, late night shows. You know, like these ones?
Oh, hey. Nice to see you again. Welcome to a Late Show. I'm Stephen Colbert.
Like this funny bit.
Check it out. This is a new baseball glove for the striking baseball players. We want more money. We want.
Oh, y'all. So relatable. Oh, y'all. Nothing gets my mind off it quite like this. Oh, y'all. You know, the never-ceasing encroachment of death upon thee and all of thee around me. Oh, y'all.
Guys in my comic book club are going to be so excited when I tell them. That is fantastic.
Sponsor alert! Sponsor alert! Have you ever struggled with a habit that you know isn't the best for you? Odds are you likely have options you just haven't heard of yet. If you've been stuck on smoking or vaping, try flavored air. It's quickly becoming the top alternative option. Introducing Fume, a leader in the flavored air movement. This award-winning device, in which I have multiple, is designed as an alternative to keep your mouth busy without any smoke or vapor. Fume offers a variety of non-toxic, delicious flavors like crisp mint or orange vanilla or black maple pepper. That's my favorite. It draws flavor directly to your mouth using a passive diffusion system without the use of electronics or the need to burn anything. No smoke, no vapor. It's not addictive. It has no nicotine. It's delicious. It's delicious. If smoking and vaping were drinking nasty coffee and soda pop, Fume's flavored cores would be closer to drinking an herbal tea. The device itself is also fidget friendly. You can twist it and run and squeeze it around. Fume is safe and endorsed by doctors in the US following rigorous third-party safety studies. Join over 150,000 who have chosen Fume. For a limited time, use my code UMPAVILLE to get 10% off a journey pack. Or scan the QR code or go to tryfume.com. Use code UMPAVILLE, scan the QR code, get 10% off. It's awesome. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this channel. Appreciate you guys. The concept of late night is old, all right? Back in the late 1940s, early 1950s was really when late night television began with the Faye Emerson Show.
Buster is, I'm so delighted to have him on my show, and I want to tell you why, because to me this is one of the great geniuses of our theater, our silent pictures and regular motion pictures, but I think he reached his really great genius in the silent pictures when everything happened in his face, or rather really nothing happened in his face. Isn't that right?
That's right.
A fucking awesome show where they did awesome shit and they really pushed the boundaries with clips like this.
This is a portrait of me painting by Eddie Doucette in Pepsi-Cola. He actually used Pepsi-Cola instead of oil. Mr. Doucette is a chef.
It was like the Man Show, but really old. And not really, it was actually a girl. It was How to Meet Men. One of the bits was that. It's pretty interesting.
I knew one millionaire in Texas that his father left him $20 million and it embarrassed him to death. So he made up his mind and he went out through sheer determination, built it up into something respectable. I think it was $50 million. He was ashamed to face his friends.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's not a legend. It's very true.
So many people with so much money. I'm from the 1950s, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pretend like I'm having a great time, but in reality, I'm a girl, and it's a rough world for a girl in the 1950s.
They had ads for jewelry.
My wedding ring. So many of you wanted to see my wedding ring and asked about it. I'm surprised how you notice little things like that. It's a hand-carved gold band of roses.
And they generally discuss things that would be considered life hacks nowadays. Everyday life as a woman in the 1950s. Each episode was 15 minutes long. They really liked yapping back then. I tell you what, she had guests, she cracked jokes, and she laid the foundation for late night television. The Faye Emerson Show. Very beginning, man. This shit went hard, dude.
In any language, whether it's French or American or Kyrgyzstan, Pepsi-Cola is a great drink. A great American drink. It goes for grown-ups or children alike.
Now, when you think of late night TV, chances are if you're old as you think of The Tonight Show, a show that NBC created. It began as the Broadway open house.
And you know, it's a funny thing. Flying has a funny effect on Jerry. Well, here he comes now. You'll see what I mean. Jerry?
All right, men.
This shit aired at 11 p.m. at night, which is like 5 a.m. in now time, and it lasted a little over a year, from 1950 to 1951. It was comedy, there was music, and it was presented as the first late-night entertainment broadcast. Massey!
What? Thank you. You remember me, Picasso? Well... Okay, never mind. Well, you use these. What do I want with them? Oh, everything is upside down.
I wrote the music to that song.
You did?
Yeah, and I wrote the words.
Well, what are the... let me hear the words slower now.
The words he wants to hear. Give him the words.
Yeah, the words. No melody.
No?
However, it would truly become The Tonight Show as we know it now in 1954.
From New York City, the National Broadcasting Company presents Tonight, starring Steve Allen.
Show hosted by a guy named Steve Allen, a comedian. I use the term loosely because a lot of late night TV show hosts are comedians.
Learn more about Bob's story on hemorrhoids.com. I don't want to know Bob's story, okay? How empty is my life that I have time to go to this website? Hey, if I want to see hemorrhoids, I can stand in the bathroom with a hand mirror, okay? I don't need to go to some stupid website.
There are some that I love, by the way. This isn't just going to be me throwing shade all the time. It's more fun to throw shade and more compelling, and people watch the videos more. But like at the same time, I'm going to do some glazing and some sucking, okay? Some sucking and some f***ing in this video. During the broadcast, Steve would talk to guests behind a desk. He would perform sketch comedy. He would sing, dance, do all the things that the late night monkey do nowadays.
Somebody stole the beer. I can see right now what our big problem is going to be. It's going to be explaining every single joke. That's a New York joke. I'm sorry, I didn't plan it. We are sponsored locally for 15 minutes before we come on the network to all you people. And we were sponsored by a beer. And I don't want to say they don't trust me, but I leave a half a glass of beer around. As soon as they stop paying the bill, zip, it's back in the bottle, you know?
See? People looked funny back then. Like, people looked like this. There were just people walking around that looked like that. Crazy and jarring, dude. Crazy and jarring. Steve Allen hosted The Tonight Show all the way up until 1957, until he tragically died in an explosion. Just kidding. It was just a regular, he just got tired of it, I guess, and they changed host to other comedian, Jack Paar, comedian. Tonight with Jack Paar continued on and on and on with the same format as the previous host show, and people began consistently tuning into late night programming. That was the beginning of it.
Anything you wanted to do, you could have done. Well, why did you go into politics?
Well, I worked for a newspaper from 1940 1945, and I went to the United Nations Conference at San Francisco and then Potsdam. And it's quite obvious, and has been, I think, and it's going to be true even more, that all the great decisions which are going to be made, which will affect the lives of everyone in this room now, will be made by the United States government.
But I will say, this was yet to be the height of late night. Motherfuckers. I'll also note that Paar sucked. A lot of people, when they first get in, they kind of suck. His debut was a disaster. He was uncomfortable and weird, but somehow still brought in sponsors and viewers to the show, which is pretty awesome. I mean, there's like 3 channels, so you didn't really, it's not like you could just put anybody up there and it would do well because there's 3 channels. So it was only when Paar handed the show over on October 1st, 1962 to Johnny Carson, some guy you've probably heard of.
October 1st, 1962 is a day I'll always remember. I was 36 years old, taking my place as host of America's most popular late-night program, The Tonight Show.
With Carson, late night television blew up in popularity. All right, dude took the nation by storm and was coined quickly the king of late night television.
Can't go any higher than that. What are you doing with that marmoset on your head?
He was the host that perfected the opening monologue that all these goobers still do to this day.
No, somebody made this. That happens to be my birthday today, and I don't, The only reason I mention that is in case you wonder why the post office and the banks are closed.
He created the well-known Johnny's Theme opening theme song. Now all these guys have bands and shit, which I love it. He popularized the format that still exists today. Do you like jazz, Johnny? How do you even dance this? It's like, feels devoid of rhythm. For the next very long time, it was Johnny Carson. He was at the head of it. There was come and goes. Those don't matter. This shit is the Johnny Carson show for a long 30 years, basically. Jonathan Carson paved the way for all future hosts across all television broadcasts, all hosted television. Dude is a legend. Seriously.
We've had this young lady on the show very often the past, I guess, 7 or 8 years. She's been appearing with us.
9 years. About 9 years.
Right, yeah. Several plus several would be about 9.
You said 7 or 8.
No, I didn't say 7 or 8. I said several.
Then you said 7 or 8, and I said
did I?
9. Yes.
9. Good, thank you.
He showed networks that the late night format doesn't just resonate massively and can be incredibly entertaining, but he also showed everyone that it could be extremely profitable. He had an incredibly successful 30-year career. He increased the production value of his show over the 4,500 episodes that he was a part of. And he truly showed, really for the first time, that live television was valuable and absolutely worth investing in. It was the thing. Because of Johnny Carson. Johnny's last episode, which aired May 22nd, 1992, before I was even born.
Over the past 30 years, we have had some 24,000 guests on this show from every profession, actors, comedians, singers, dancers, politicians, writers, and so forth. What we have tonight are just little images. We picked these things out just to show you. These are not long sketches like we do on our anniversary show. We just wanted to give you a sense of some of the foolishness that has happened on this show in the past 30 years.
He pulled in 55 million viewers. Holy f***. Truly latest gigantic old He opened up his smoking jacket and just yeah. There was like 20 million people in America at the time that happened. So that's fucking amazing. Not really. There was a lot of, that's a lot of people though. That's impressive now. That is massive in 1992. Carson retiring after his 30-year run obviously left a gaping, gigantic hole in the late night entertainment broadcast sector. And how the f could anyone follow up such a prestigious and revolutionary career? Him replacing Parr was like, I don't know, slice of white bread being replaced by some pumpernickel, some demon fart. Pumpernickel is incredible compared to just Wonder Bread. What the f? I love pumpernickel. Anyways, that's not a very good example, but I just love pumpernickel. And I love that pumpernickel. It's like, basically, it's like farting demon or something. Farting devil, I think, bread. So it got a funny name to it. That's why I like it mainly. With Carson retiring, he handed over the reins to someone with a bigger jaw than even I. That is Jay Leno. Dude is got a fucking chin on him. Holy shit.
I'm talking, of course, to the anvil-headed Jay Leno.
What a challenge it would be to follow up Johnny Carson with that massive peak. My guy, Leno, would have to massively innovate to bring viewers back and keep the fucking money train going. So Carson leaving and Jay Leno coming in kind of brought in the new age of talk show hosts, all right? And there was one who was sort of in the background a little bit, even while Carson was reigning supreme. A little guy by the name of David Letterman. Yes, that Sasquatch with a huge beard that has the Netflix show. Ever heard of him?
And my wife is dead.
I'm sorry to hear that.
High five.
David Letterman truly, in my opinion, evolved the late night formula. He perfected the elements that were provided by those who came before him and operated during his reign as well. He started in 1982. Late Night with David Letterman.
Welcome to the show. You folks are apparently a bright group, bright enough at least to read the applause sign, and I certainly appreciate that. I'm very excited about this new show, and it's a big 3 or 4 days for NBC.
So wait a second. You might be thinking, well, we're back to 1982, and we're in 1992. Why didn't Johnny Carson give the reins to David Letterman? He's obviously a f***ing funny guy. Why'd he give it to this dude with a big-ass chin? Well, There was a feud in 1992 when Carson ended his show.
Johnny Carson retired after being on The Tonight Show for 30 years. It was an open field, hence the intense competition between Jay Leno and David Letterman.
Suddenly it became about like who gets his show, and then Leno got it, and then Letterman goes, maybe I don't have a place in show business.
Carson himself even wanted to hand the reins to David Letterman. He believed that he was the rightful successor to the Tonight Show throne.
He made it very clear up front that his dream was to someday host the Tonight Show.
It just didn't seem to me to make any sense to have Jay Leno doing an hour of a talk show, and then I would come on afterwards doing an hour of a talk show. And I really felt like, you know, maybe my time had come to step out of network television.
With the president and NBC and all this shit, they're a bunch of fucking assholes, and they made it go to Jay Leno for some unknown reason.
And Johnny said, if they treated me the way they're treating you, no, I would go to CBS.
I'd tell them to go to hell.
The announcement designed to keep you up at night has now been made. David Letterman says he is, for a price, switching networks, lock, stock, and stupid pet tricks.
And ultimately, the deal that Letterman wins is astronomical.
CBS lured him over with a salary more than 4 times that of Leno and given him what he really wanted, the 11:30 time slot.
It was a gigantic stink fest. It was terrible. These dudes hate each other still, probably. Maybe they've made up, I'm not sure. But I just remember seeing ribbing for years and years and years and years and years. More so from David Letterman.
They went to Jay, Big Jaw Leno, and they said, Jay, we're taking your show away from you.
Yes.
And Jay said, yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. Right.
And I think David Letterman's comedy cuts in a very unique way. I think he's an incredibly funny, intelligent, well-spoken guy who's just he just seems like kind of the guy, whereas Jay Leno's like, man, woo, you know. I cannot underemphasize how big of a deal this was in 1992. I wasn't fucking alive, but I've just seen so much about it. It is incredible. I recommend going down the rabbit hole. Okay, this video is not going to be about this. Maybe we'll make a video later on, but we got to move past it, okay? Needless to say, David Letterman not that happy about this decision from NBC to instate Jay Leno, the Chin, as the new host of The Tonight Show. And eventually in 1993, Letterman left NBC with his Late Night with David Letterman show and moved to CBS to launch The Late Show with David Letterman. And who is gonna fill David Letterman's show? That's a spot. Who's gonna fill it? Well, guys, I'll get to that in a second. First, let's talk about 1993 Letterman. It's pretty fucking funny. He did IRL skits. I mean, this is just true innovation of the late night format. Look at this guy. Walk around New York City.
Well, here it is, Friday in New York, and that means we're out on the streets again. And today we're close to the intersection of 40th Street and Broadway. You know, we've been doing these reports out on the streets for over 4 years.
Yeah, see? Out on the street there. Yeah, see? Look at him at the dentist.
Low, don't, you know, just put it on stun.
Okay, David, this is the tooth where you have broken the filling.
Right.
This is the broken filling in here. You can see this is possibly some decay underneath the broken
Oh, and there's
filling.
not much decay there, really, to speak of.
David got people really interested by going out from behind the desk. I know the fucking orangutan moment, the fucking Joker orangutan on Carson was awesome. That's legendary.
Wouldn't you love to put them in a baby carriage and then cover it and walk down the street and...
We do.
So they're all covered, and then someone come here, see, and then just pull that back and have those two things.
And they're very surprised.
Now, those aren't chimps, are they? Those are,
These are orangutan.
But David Letterman really is the godfather of all late night, beyond even, in my opinion, Johnny Carson. Hate me? Whatever. Okay, that's fine if you hate me. Probably already did anyways. Back behind the desk, this man has fucking charm. I mean, watch this.
Now, let's explore this a little. Why? Because you thought I was...
An ass.
They're first not booing, they're just chanting, share, share.
He's very unique, you know. The guy's got Flash too, man, on stage, pretty cool. Drew Barrymore flashed him. What a wild time that must have been. That's fucking insanely legendary, dude. Whoever that guy is, that guy right there is the king. He also had Eddie Murphy.
Actually, this is about right.
I want to thank John Lowe. Edie McClurg will be here tomorrow night, and again, my thanks to Eddie Murphy.
Mr. Rogers? Remember that creepy bastard? Just kidding, I love Mr. Rogers.
On your show?
goof-ups?
Sometimes things don't go right in the neighborhood.
David really fucking nailed it home, man. Seriously. And even before the 90s, pre-moving to CBS, pre-feud, all that stuff, pre-Johnny Carson leaving, he really held his own. It was David Letterman and it was Johnny Carson. I left him out on purpose just to get people to comment because I know people, you know, I was like, it's how you make a good YouTube video, compelling YouTube video. You get people, you just lie. You don't bark at that, but you bark at anything else I do. What the fuck? There were funny guests too, fucking Marshmallow launching.
All right, folks, cover yourselves. Get ready for this.
They did the show on the back of a fucking truck, which is incredible.
Paul Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Paul. How are you? Do you have anything here for us? Yeah, I got a little something.
Small town news. It's always empty.
I love it, dude. Guy deserved his shit. He was also the original Watch Mojo with his epic top 10 lists that I remember from my childhood.
Reasons I decided to become a teacher. Number 10, Zach Smith.
I hope to live up to the teachers who inspired me, like Miss What's-Her-Name.
That's right.
We'll go back to Jay Leno for a minute, and then we'll go to something else, something magic. We love Jay Leno. Jay Leno, a lot of the same stuff. He kind of 2012 YouTuber type beat, going out on the beach and giving people geography tests and beach quizzes.
What is the capital of California?
San Francisco? No, Los Angeles? I don't know.
What is the capital of California?
I don't know, Pasadena?
Doing pickup lines in a citizen test.
How many stars on the flag?
32?
There's a flag right up there. See that one?
Mm-hmm.
How many stars on that flag?
It's moving too fast to count them.
It's moving too fast to count them?
32, I guess.
How many stars on the flag? He really proved how fucking stupid people are. I mean, he did a good job. He had his bits, right? He's funny. He wasn't really the favorite. I know my grandparents really liked him. They have since passed. My living grandparents, not so much. My living grandparents prefer a little guy or a big guy with red hair named Conan O'Brien. I don't really know. I don't get Jay Leno at all, man. I don't get Jay. He seems like a legend. Obviously, he's a dude. He like, you know, it seemed like Jay Leno just wasn't cool. That was kind of the thing. Jay Leno is just for old people, and he wasn't cool.
I'm very excited because this means I've created one more job this year than President Bush, so I'm actually excited. Now, John, you have to relax. All the monologue, he's sitting like this. Learn to relax. Are you relaxed?
Oh, Jay, I'm so relaxed.
Good.
And I just didn't get it. Whereas David Letterman was more like, you never knew really what was going to happen on David Letterman. It's pretty cool. You did. I mean, it wasn't that crazy. Yeah, I'm pro Letterman. So now we get to the fun part. When David Letterman left NBC in 1993 and went to CBS for his Late Show with David Letterman, his show, there was an open seat, guys. I mentioned that. And Conan O'Brien, a little writer from The Simpsons, a little poorly known ginger guy from The Simpsons, was chosen to be next in line after David Letterman left. I mean, that is fucking crazy. He was new to the talk show scene, had absolutely no experience in any of this stuff. He's a comedy writer. He went to fucking Harvard. He's a genius, but the public really didn't seem to think that he was ready. And I'm not gonna pretend like that I did, because I wasn't alive. But Mr. Conan O'Brien was pretty much just a Simpsons writer for the best season of The Simpsons, and also a writer on SNL. Guy's funny, but did he have what it takes? According to the public, they were absolutely worried, and so was fucking Conan. The first show was a big success. It was a pretty big deal. Pretty cool. God, he must have been so fucking nervous, dude. I just said I cannot imagine how nervous he was. There's a comment from me from 5 years ago to all the people saying cocaine. I can't even imagine just how nervous he was. I guess people said he was on cocaine or something. I don't really know. That's so funny though. I'm consistent, at least. I'm consistent for my love of fucking Conan O'Brien. Oh my God, that's crazy. His self-depreciation was applauded by the public immediately, but once again, the public was still not convinced that he could keep up with Letterman or hold the reins in an honorable way, because he's just some fucking random guy. Jay Leno, pretty popular comedian before The Tonight Show reins were taken over. David Letterman, legend. Conan O'Brien, who? Even Conan O'Brien wasn't sure he could do it. He was his harshest fucking critic. The last 20 minutes of the program consisted of Mr. O'Brien performing a strange snake-like dance in front of his desk as audience members filed out in disgust. "You'll be back," he shouted several times until the entire studio was empty, except for the Orange Eater and Mr. Coleman, who giggled frenetically under the closing credits. I love Conan O'Brien so much, dude. Oh, this is just an advertisement for Conan O'Brien from here on out. But it does get very, 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 very fucked up. The man set himself up for a generational run, much like David Letterman, much like Carson before him, much like Leno. The guy is a fucking natural on late night.
How's it going?
It's going good.
What are you doing at the sexy girl section? Who's this woman right here?
I'm just the mom.
You're the mom? Let me get this straight. You bring your mom to the sexy girl costume section? What's going on?
I actually brought him.
Oh, you brought him? Even stranger.
16 years he spent in that spot on NBC until he was given another opportunity that many people could only dream about. Hosting The Tonight Show.
Thank you very much.
Most people probably wouldn't give a f, actually. They wouldn't want to host The Tonight Show ever. They would want to just have a simple, happy, healthy life. And that's an aspiration you should have. I mean, realistically, I'd rather just be normal and happy than host The Tonight Show. What the f? It sounds terrible. And in 2009, Conan made the switch. It was awesome, dude. I was there. I was watching. I was such a massive, I mean, from 2005 or 2006, whenever Craig Ferguson late night, whenever his show came aboard, 2005, as soon as the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson aired, I was an immediate I watched it every single night, and I would watch reruns. I would watch Craig Ferguson, write down all the shit I thought was funny. Conan O'Brien, I can't remember which one came which, but I would just, my mom let me stay up. She loved Craig Ferguson. She didn't really get Conan as much back in the day, but she gets him now. This is like, the reason I'm a YouTuber is these guys, specifically Craig Ferguson and Conan O'Brien. You might be like, well, why aren't you funny like them? I mean, I didn't say I was gonna be good at it. It's just the reason I like the attention. So Conan made the big step up in 2009 by taking the reins of The Tonight Show. Jay Leno left, and there's a hilarious, he ran to make the show in LA, coming from New York to LA. He did exceptional. Nobody doubted him at this time.
Alan, could we, let's try and cue a meteor, see what happens.
In line?
However, it was very short-lived due to some shit that went on behind the scenes and just absolute nonsense. And he moved to TBS. By the way, we'll get into that shit in a little bit. Anyways, after taking over The Tonight Show for a short period of time, he went to TBS. On TBS, Conan felt right at home. He brought his most loyal staff with him, and he truly revolutionized network TV comedy. And it's like, that's the peak of late night, is Conan on TBS, in my opinion. He had the script writers, the ideas, the fucking team, an insanely talented crew of people.
Oh, the car stalled, huh? Hold on.
I gotta start it up.
He stood apart from everyone else. I mean, truly, I love David Letterman. I think he's great. I love Craig Ferguson. I think he's also great and deserves his own segment of this video, but he's not going to get it, unfortunately, because I fucking just yap too much. Not a huge fan of Jay Leno for a plethora of reasons. Let's just say, bit of a purity test. Norm Macdonald was only on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno a couple times in the 90s during a couple years, probably when he did pre-firing from SNL, okay? Post-firing from SNL, he was only on Letterman, he was only on Conan O'Brien Show, okay? Just gonna say that. Just gonna put that out there. That means a lot. Also, Conan's show, the guests were down to have a jolly good, silly, goofy time.
You come out with a bird on your shoulder.
I knew I shouldn't have come out here.
Yeah, no. You're welcome here anytime, but you come out with a bird on your shoulder and then say we can't. How am I supposed to not ask about the bird?
Relevant to anything, okay?
It's not relevant to anything.
I mentioned him before, Norm Macdonald, frequent guest on Conan Show, calling his wife a battle axe.
If this were a memoir, I would tell about my wife. What a battle axe.
Battle axe?
I mean,
no one's called their wife a battle axe since 1945.
Telling the moth story.
And so the doctor says, Moth, man, you're troubled. But you should be seeing a psychiatrist. Why on earth did you come here? And then the moth said, because the light was on.
I fucking love Conan Show so much, and he established members of his team as characters on the show.
And then, get me out! Get me out fast! Fast!
I can't, there's like that, I can't remember the fucking old guy who hangs out with David Letterman. I don't know anyone from Jay Leno's show. I don't remember anybody from Johnny Carson except for that little Joker monkey. On Conan's show, I know Andy Richter, the sidekick. I know Sona, his assistant, I think, Jordan Schlansky, his producer. I know the world. The world is there. He provided us that world and provided us comedy in a new way that genuinely had never been done. I mean, I watched YouTube more watching TV in the very beginning when they first started posting that shit on there than I did watch YouTubers. I just watched television shows on YouTube, specifically Conan O'Brien, the remotes, things like that. Conan also just evolved in every single way. He had the Clueless Gamer, which was so incredible. He was not a seasoned gamer. He would play games with his co-star, Aaron.
Now by my companion, Aaron Blair.
Hello, sir.
You are the digital nerd who helps me, the Sancho Panza to my digital Quixote.
Aaron knew a lot about games. It wasn't just a fucking YouTube Let's Play normally. It was just entertaining, and Conan is just a giant idiot. And that's like the whole thing. That's the whole bit. It's fucking awesome.
There's a guy named Franklin. Trevor is like a meth tweaker out kind of near the Salton Sea, the Alamo Sea. When we start here, we're gonna play Michael.
All right, that's me in my house, right?
Yeah. All right, so there's a car. Let's walk towards the car.
Yep.
Now, a big thing, obviously, in Grand Theft Auto is driving. That's the big thing. Yep, and there you go. Yep, okay.
You got PewDiePie, he was on there.
The game we're gonna play tonight is Far Cry Primal. Most video games take place in a dark future.
That's true.
This one seems to take place a long time ago in the past.
God, that was awesome. Bill Hader, he was on there.
Please tell us about this game. Number 8 in the 7
number 8 in the installment of the
Seth Rogen was on there, Zac Efron.
Where am I? I don't even know where I am.
Dude, this is awesome.
Are we supposed to get coins?
I suck so bad at this.
Here we go, here we go.
Son of a
Hey, let's watch the language. We're in a frat house.
You also had Conan Without Borders, where he would go to foreign countries. He visited South Korea, Australia, Germany, North Korea. Just kidding, he didn't go there. That'd be funny, though. He'd do really well there.
안녕하세요. They bow very deeply. Does that mean they think I'm old?
Yeah.
But I'm not that old. I'm a young... Look at me. Look. Does this seem like an old man to you?
The movement is like old man movement.
Those are not old men movements.
Then he had his remotes, which were the best. He went to Chick Elms to get fitted out, the Grand Entry, to get fitted out in some cowboy shit. He got some Harlem swag. That was awesome.
This is Harlem swag.
This is Harlem swag.
What would this be called right here?
Casual. Straight casual.
Yeah, you said it with disdain.
No, it's okay if you passing through.
He even went to a Korean spa, and I don't think I've ever laughed harder at anything on television ever in my entire life, genuinely.
If you can tell that I work out.
근육 좋지요.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you not looking at me? Look at me. 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 Why do you not look at me? I say look at me. 쳐보세요. Look at him.
Oh, it's just so funny. He's such a genius, dude. He also smoked with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube.
That's an insane amount of smoke.
What are you talking about?
This is like a Cheech and Chong movie up front. You gotta crack your window, we're gonna die. We're gonna die, we're going to jail. You had a good time, didn't you? You had a good career. You're ready to call it quits.
Pretty baller. These all have millions and millions and millions and millions of views on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, I've taken a lot of inspiration from Conan O'Brien. I love Conan O'Brien. Now, check out this picture of all the late night people. Okay? Who are these guys? This is Conan O'Brien, James Corden. I forget his name. Trevor Noah, that's his name. Jimmy Kimmel. This guy, what's his name? Sean Connolly? No. Sean Connery? No. I forget. I like him. John Oliver? Seth Meyers? I've never seen this guy in my life. Jimmy Fallon has no alcohol, I believe, because he is an alcoholic. I think I've heard that before. Bill Maher, who I cannot stand. What we see here is the bottom of the barrel of late night. We see the fallen format that is terrible, with one guy left who can do it here. So who the f are all these people, and what is all this? I mean, what is going on? You probably have heard of James Corden. You may not have even heard of David Letterman or Conan O'Brien, depending on your age. But late night was an incredibly valuable thing and a very popular thing. And with value and something that appears incredible, there will be copies of that thing. And subsequent generations will spawn new seeds and ideas and different interpretations. And that's what we have here, guys. That's what we have here. We have a lot of late night hosts, and it's very easy to compare their styles. And YouTube has picked these dweebs apart for years. Stephen Colbert, that's his name. Yeah, I used to think the Colbert Report was kind of funny when I was a kid, but I don't really remember what happened on it, and I don't remember why I liked it. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel, though, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel at all. I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel. He might as well be just a meat puppet.
I don't know how to thank you. It may take me a couple months to repay you for all you've done. You know, Jimmy, here's the deal.
A lot of the criticisms are not that fair, but he is definitely super vanilla and doesn't add a lot. The internet fucking hates Jimmy Fallon, though, for real. Holy shit. Plus, he fake laughs all the time. It's just weird. He just laughs.
I forgot I was in New York.
Yeah. You can't say You can't say, yeah.
There's even articles, BuzzFeed articles about him just laughing at nothing. That's just crazy, dude. What the? It's very forced and weird.
Co-hosting the Oscars with James Franco.
It seems like Jimmy Fallon's reasoning and explanation for all this laughing and just enthusiasm, I guess you could interpret it as, is he's a kid in a candy store. He's ecstatic to be able to talk to the people that he talks to and live the life that he lives, obviously.
Man, oh man, did you knock out punches? You're so great. You're great. You crushed it.
Thank you.
The biggest movie ever.
It's the group of
I want to say $800 million worldwide or something like that.
He's the most entertained human on the planet. Those are his own words, which makes perfect sense, you know? But that being said, doesn't mean it's going to be entertaining TV and doesn't mean it's going to be funny or valuable to watch in any way. Sure, he might be a good guy, but by God, he's not very entertaining on late night, I tell you what. And that also being said, he loves cutting his guests off, and things are fucking, they get uncomfortable and awkward and weird, and I don't know, man.
Right? You're like, oh my God. Only Freddie Mercury could pull. They do? They do. I would go nuts for you. I was like, that is classic. Yeah. Only Freddie Mercury can pull that off.
Plus, Jimmy just doesn't really do a lot. James Corden, on the other hand, is just insufferable.
You're insecure. Don't know what for.
He's insufferable. I don't understand how the show is still writing. Nobody likes it. I've never met a human being who watches James Corden's show. All I hear about is like, oh, I hear he mistreats people in public and stuff. That's what I hear about.
Today we're going to be breaking down the top 10 worst James Corden moments.
He's just an adversarial guy. He's given a bunch of people a bunch of reasons to not like him.
One of his producers named Jack Allison had made a tweet in regards to how poorly James had treated his writing staff, which was included in the litany of complaints made against the host. Jack tweeted, "I'd like to state once again for the record that I went to a WGA meeting for only late night writers, and James Corden showed up without any of his staffers to advocate for a lower pay grade for late night writers." Now, James tried to refute his points, but honestly his Twitter replies aren't even worth sharing. He basically called his own producer a liar and stated that he cared about his writers while simultaneously arguing for lower pay at the Writers Guild of America meeting.
It's just that. Even 8 years ago, there's this clip from one of James' own inspirations, a comedian named Stuart Lee, who just railed on him for a whole minute.
James Corden? You know, I don't know James Corden personally, right? But he's always going on in interviews about how brilliant he thinks I am, right? And the feeling is not reciprocated.
It's so fucking funny, dude. So f***ed up. He even got into a f***ing spat with Patrick Stewart. The legend Patrick Stewart. I cannot stand to watch this video. I hate this video so much.
When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on.
It's cringe from both of them, to be honest, but I'm just going to always side with Patrick Stewart. Very odd. He was being a and it wasn't funny at all. But wow. And he's just so upset. So f***ing upset. You do know that's Patrick Stewart, right? And you're James Corden. Take the L. Come on, dude. I will say James Corden contributed Carpool Karaoke. We love Carpool Karaoke, the most enjoyed aspect of all of the Late Show with James Corden. This guy replaced Craig Ferguson. Do you know how much of a downgrade that is? This is crazy that this is real life. This guy replaced Craig Ferguson, dude. An actual comedian. A funny guy that's likable and Scottish and awesome. And Josh Robert Thompson, the fucking skeleton, dude. The skeleton, man. I don't understand this. Why is this guy here? Britney Spears even didn't like filming Carpool Karaoke. She found it incredibly awkward to be in there with James Corden being drug around in a car and stuff. It's very odd. Just weird.
Superstar, where you from? How's it going? I know you got...
And also all the criticisms you could throw at Jimmy Fallon, like him being just disingenuous or trying too hard or fake. It's all valid for James Corden as well. He tries so hard to just put himself in there, dude.
There's people I like who are far more obvious kids and documented arseholes than him. And I've tried to work out what is it I don't like about him, what is it? And I've said before, it's the kind of try-hardiness of him. It's the always an act with him. It's the whole talking like that and going... It's the driving like that.
And to be clear, you know, making people like Britney Spears uncomfortable or getting in Patrick Stewart's face at an award ceremony is unlikable. But just being a to everyday people is 50,000 times worse. Because who the f gives a f about those other people, just in general? Amongst many other instances, the most notable is in 2022, James was seen at popular New York City restaurant Balthazar. For Balthazar! Shut up. He was reportedly seen yelling and being belligerent towards the restaurant owner Keith McNally and also servers again later that year. In June 2022, Corden demanded 2 free rounds of drinks for him and his friends after he found a hair in his food. In October 2022, James yelled at the wait staff and kitchen staff because his wife ordered an egg omelet, which didn't have enough egg in it. It was sent back to the kitchen, and then when it was sent back out, the kitchen made a mistake, and they sent out salad with fries. And this was all reported by the owner of the restaurant, Keith McNally. He posted this on his Instagram, and yeah, saying he banned James Corden from the establishment. Very, very, very embarrassing. James then apologized to Keith, and he unbanned him from the restaurant. James Corden just called me and apologized profusely. Having myself more than most people, I still believe in second chances. So James Corden, dude, shut the f up, man. At least Keith is a good guy, though. I would never unban him for yelling at my people. What the f, dude? What a douche. Then to make matters substantially worse and prove himself as a f***ing dumbass idiot, James was interviewed by the New York Times and indirectly rescinded his apology to Keith and, you know, said that he did nothing wrong. And Keith posted this. Storm a restaurant teacup. I've no wish to kick a man when he's down, especially one who's worth $100 million. But when James Corden said in yesterday's New York Times that he hadn't done anything wrong on any level, was he joking? Or was he denying being abusive to my server? Whatever Corden meant, his implication was clear. He didn't do it. Although, I didn't witness the incident. A lot of my restaurant's floor staff did. They had nothing to gain by lying. Corden did. Wow. What a giant douche. A couple more really unlikable things and funny things that have happened to James Corden. He was cast in 2020 a Netflix show called Prom, and he played an incredibly homophobic, simple, just oversimplified gay guy in a musical about gay rights, and it was just not, people didn't like it very much.
Offensive and inaccurate and inauthentic. This is what I think is the problem with his casting in The Prom. Oh my god, hey! By which I of course really mean, oh my god, gay!
I'm going to create a character that is so offensively gay. And he's pretty gay and stuff, and like, hey, I don't think he did that good of a job in it, to be honest, and I'm not sure if he ever apologized for it, but he's just terrible, dude. He sucks. Also, 109,000 people signed a petition to keep James Corden out of Wicked the movie, which is funny to me. I think that's so funny, dude. And with that is the end of Late Night. I'm not even gonna talk about the other guys. Not a fan of Bill Maher. I don't like Stephen Colbert. This is just personal opinion. I don't think they're like bad people necessarily. I really don't like Jimmy Kimmel at all. I think he's like a fucking he's just unlikable. I really don't know. I also don't know any of these people in real life. I'm sure if I met them in real life, I would have a different opinion, probably even of James Corden. And that's a healthy rationality to maintain in your head anyways. None of this is really real, and these people are put on a pedestal and a spotlight and told to act a certain way. So they could be good behind the camera, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's nothing lost on you, nothing lost on me. Oh, I also forgot to mention, in 2009, when Conan O'Brien was set up to take the greatest late night show of all time from the hands of Mr. Leno, that was the beginning of the downfall of the model. In 2009, Conan went to the Tonight Show, and then Leno just changed his mind and wanted to come back. And NBC was like, sure, showed clear favoritism. It was incredibly disrespectful to Conan O'Brien. It created a massive amount of tension between those guys. Also between other late night talk show hosts. Conan went on David Letterman and talked about it because they'd both been by Jay Leno. Very funny. There's a lot of worms there to dissect and talk about in those feuds, but it shows you who the real OGs are. Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, they're not doing it anymore. They're not doing it. They've retired. They're not on anymore. Nobody likes any of these other people. Late night TV shows in general and their death is long and complicated, and it spans 70 years, multiple platforms, a dozen hosts, 20 and 30 hosts. And for me, it was incredibly formative, and I implore you all to go look up clips of Conan O'Brien and watch good quality television, what it used to be. Also, Craig Ferguson. I cannot recommend Craig Ferguson enough. I love that guy. I don't know what he's up to now, but whatever it is, I'm sure it's awesome, and he's killing it. So, anyways, honey on yoink.